Hi there, my name is Walker Reynolds. I'm the president of Intellic Modules, which is a division of Intellic Integration. This video is a quick, informal summation and introduction to the newest module that we're releasing, which is a Canary Labs connector module for ignition by inductive automation. So for those of you that are not familiar with ignition, ignition is a rapid application development environment, as we like to call it. It really is a a universal tool for collecting, analyzing, and reporting data from not just in SCADA applications, but also in MES and ERP solutions. It's marketed as a SCADA platform, but it really is way, way, way more than that. And this is we're also leveraging the Canary Labs Historian and Axiom toolset. So essentially what this module is a connector that takes ignition tags that are running inside your ignition SCADA system, and ships them to a Canary Historian so that you can unlock the power of all the Historian tools. It's a very quick setup, very easy setup. You can, in just a few minutes, you can have all your tags inside of your ignition application being sent over to the Canary Historian, and then you can unlock the power of the Canary Historian. There is a Canary Viewer component. There's an ignition component that runs inside of the designer that gives us the ability to embed those native HTML5 applications that you build with Axiom, the Canary Labs Axiom, inside of your ignition application. It's an incredibly, incredibly powerful tool, and we're really opening up a whole new world of development with the ignition platform here. Real quick, I'm just going to go through how it works. The Canary Labs connector module for ignition is a free ignition from Intellic Modules. We're going to give the module away. It's a tag connector from ignition to Canary. It also includes a component, a new component that we developed for the Vision module called the Canary Viewer, which allows users to build and view powerful HTML5 trends and dashboards from inside the ignition client, or the runtime. So you can both view and build dashboards, HTML5 dashboards, from the runtime. Canary Viewer embeds into your ignition project and unlocks the power of the Canary Labs Axiom and Historian toolset. And users will have the ability to build dynamic dashboards in an ignition client as well, eliminating the need to build dashboards in the ignition designer exclusively. One of the most common requests that comes up is that end users, engineers, systems engineers, quality personnel, they want to be able to manipulate their data in their ignition SCADA applications from within the client. The developers who own the application don't want to give end users access to the ignition designer, which is where the real power is, and there isn't really a whole lot of effective ways to give the end users the ability to manipulate their data and customize their data from inside the client. So there are two hurdles we wanted to jump here. Number one, we really wanted to strengthen the historical analytic tools in our ignition applications, and the second one was we wanted native HTML5. We wanted to be able to build feature-rich dashboards and mobile applications inside of ignition, native inside of ignition, and this module allows us to do that. It's a pretty quick process. All we do is download the module from Intellic Modules, install the module on your gateway, configure the Canary settings on the gateway configuration page, open a designer, create a new window, drop the viewer onto your window, and start building your trends and dashboards. It's really that simple. So I'm going to show you how that works. So right now we have an ignition gateway, and we have a Canary Labs Historian running in the same virtual environment right now, but they don't have to be running on the same machine. In this case, they are. We have a series of tags. So we have a simulator running in here, and we have this directory called TT test that has all these simulated tags running in there. What we've done is we've gone to our ignition gateway, and we've installed a new module, and that module is the Canary Historian Ignition module. Once we install the module, we go to our third-party Historian Canary settings page, and we put in there are some settings we have to set in here. So what's the name of the application that's sending the data? Do we have a custom client ID? What's the name of the data set that we are sending our data to? So I'm going to show you real quick what that means. Uh, the Canary Labs historian allows you to store your historical tags in different locations if you want to, and so and they call these the data sets. So I'm gonna go ahead and just bring this is a native Axiom trend, but if I the Axiom tool open up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open up this chart here, and I'm going to add a new pen to it. So what I'm going to do is just come over here and I want to add a pen. So right now what I have is I have the Canary Historian. I have 3 data sets in my historian. I've created one called test, and these are all the tags that we're sending over from our ignition instance. Everything in here, the TT underscore test underscore some short. If I change the name of my data set and then restart my module, my tags will start publishing to an entirely new data set. And the old history will stay in this data set, and the new history will go into a new one. So that's what that setting is. The other thing that we configure is where's the location order historian, and then we put in our parent tag path. So what this means is the way the module currently is configured in this first release is we select a tag provider or a tag directory that we want to send all the tags that are in that directory and any of its children directory we want to send to the historian. So right now we're saying we want everything that's in default TT test shipped to the historian. So if we look in here, that's the default tag provider TT test. So everything that's in any of the child directories or anything that's in that directory is going to get sent to the historian. So if I go back to my service, you'll notice TT test, site 1, flow, etc. So they're all being shipped over. What I could do is I could just say default, and it would send everything that's in that tag provider over. So in release 1, we're limited to just one selection. So by default, we generally just say send everything. So send everything in the default tag provider over to the historian. In release 2, this will be comma separated. So you'll be able to put in a comma separated list of various directories you want to send. So you could have multiple tag providers running in your application, and you'll be able to send them to multiple. You'll be able to send multiple tag providers over to the historian. That will include the ability to send each tag provider to its own data set if you want to. And then in release 3, there will be a checkbox here where we just check the box and say, I want you to take everything that's already being historized in Ignition, and I want you to send it. I want you to go find those tags and send it to Canary. And that's it. Once we hit save, we go ahead and launch our designer, and here there are a couple things that will happen. The first thing that will happen is you'll see a new Canary Viewer component, which we just can grab. So let me grab this. We can just delete this real quick. And what I can do is I can just drop that Canary Viewer onto my window. I can resize it. I can put multiple instances on the window. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and so here I want this one to show the root, and this one I'm going to resize for a mobile application which I've already built, and we'll drop that one in. And what I'll do here is we'll go ahead and anchor this one to the upper right. We'll go ahead and publish this, and then we'll go into our client. So I've already created some custom windows. I gave myself exactly 30 minutes to build as many dashboards as I could. So everything that you see here was built in 30 minutes or less. So the first thing I have is my builder window. So my builder window is where I can build new dashboards or have just complete access to Axiom and open up anything I already have. Okay, so that's this window here. So I have inside of Axiom, I have the Axiom trend. If I select Axiom trend, what will happen is it will launch the out-of-the-box trend tool that came with Canary Historian. So I've already built a really powerful dashboard or a trend called Short with Some. And so I'm going to show you a couple of the features that are definitely different than ignition trending. Everything you're seeing here is HTML5. So what I've got is I have two pens that are 2 data points that came from my data. So if I go over here and look at my pens that I have in here, there are 4 pens running on this trend. 2 of them come from my ignition tags, random short 1 and random short 2. But then 2 of these are calculated pens that I put in into this application using Axiom. So if I go back to my tags and look, there are 2. Whoops. That didn't actually move. Isn't that funny? That was weird. Okay, so random short 1 here and random short 2 are the 2 tags that we're viewing in my trend here right now. And then what I did was I created 2 calculated pens. The purple pen is the sum of these 2 put together, and the green pen is the difference of those 2 pens put together. And that trend is running on this dashboard with a couple of circular gauges that I've added with some spark lines. Dashboard 3 is just that trend. And dashboard 4 is a more traditional dashboard. This button here is showing us what a traditional ignition trend. So this is the easy chart component running inside of ignition. Generally what I do is change this to black, and I normally switch my mode to X-Trace. So it gives me the ability to do my traceability. Now, you can do the same type of calculations inside of using ignition components. But you do that building calculated pens, but you have to do that from in the designer. You can't do that here in the client, or at least you can't do it easily. You could actually do it, but it would require, you'd have to build an abstraction layer, and it would require quite a bit of development up front to make it happen. Axiom just does it out of the box. Also, generally for executive level personnel, they're oftentimes not really impressed. They want to be impressed with their dashboards. They expect to see more of the web application style dashboard, and that's what Axiom gives us. There's a ton of really, really cool, powerful tools that we can do here with Axiom, and I highly recommend you go on Canary Labs YouTube channel and watch what the real power of the tool is. But I mean, the big one that I use is the statistics analysis, where I can grab whatever pens are on my chart. I can go ahead and then I can run statistical analysis against that data, calculating mean, standard deviation, all my quadriles, you name it. One of the big things is you can do a time shift. So what I could do is I could add a 3rd pen here that is random short 2, but from 24 hours ago, and I can compare random short 2 from 24 hours ago with random short 2 right now if I wanted to. Last thing I want to show you is that window that I just built. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over. We're going to go back to our designer, and I'm going to go ahead and anchor this one. Let me close this, grab that. And then we'll go back. And I'll show you this mobile application that I've built. And if you want to see this mobile app, you could go to mobile.intellicintegration.com, and you can see it running natively in your mobile browser actually right now. We've just published it out. So this is a standard 480 by 800 mobile application that will render in your iPhone or Android browser beautifully. And this is just a little tank dashboard that I built. But if you go on your phone right now to mobile.intellicintegration.com, you'll be able to see it running. I want to show one. There's one other thing I want to show, and that is I'm going to go ahead and launch a trend, and I want to show how quickly our data shows up in the historian and how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load my int chart. So we're going to go ahead and load this chart here back up. And what I'm going to do is say I want to add a pen. So right now, get over here to my test data set. And what I want to do is add another short. So you'll notice that the shorts that I have go all the way up to short number 5. There is no short number 6, and I want a short number 6. So what I'm going to do is go back into my designer, and I'm going to create that panel, or I'm going to create that tag, and I'm going to drop it into the same directory. So you notice random short number 5 is the last one we have. I'm just going to go ahead and paste a 6 in there. And I'm actually going to paste there we go, a 6 and a 7 are both in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now we're going to go back to our trend, and I'm going to go ahead and add 2 pens. And you'll notice once we scroll down here that random shorts 6 and 7 will be there. Whoops, sorry. Whoops, I gotta scroll down. So you'll notice random short 6 and 7 have been added right here. And I'm going to go ahead and add those in. Sorry, my video software is making my machine run really slow. So now what's happened is random short 7 is now in my trend as an ugly gray color. So I would generally change that to red, but I don't want to keep you guys any longer. So quickly, in summation, that's a quick high-level overview of how the new Intellic module works, which connects the ignition tags with the Canary Labs historian. Incredibly powerful tool. It unlocks all the power of the Canary Labs historian and their Axiom web service. And if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email at walker.reynolds@intellicintegration.com or reach out to John McLeod or Jeff Nepper, John McLeod with Intellic or Jeff Nepper with Canary Labs. Again, this is Walker Reynolds. I'm the president of Intellic Modules, and thank you for watching.